go off and explore the world. So he started the process of applying for a passport. Now, he's run into a bit of trouble because unfortunately Mike was born after the 20th of August, 1986. And both of his parents were born overseas. And to make things even more complicated, he's not really in contact with his parents at the moment. So he's going through the process of getting a passport, and it's a bit laborious. He's got to get his documents from all these different agencies, and he's finding that pretty frustrating. I mean, he's leaving in 3 weeks. He's worried he's not going to get all these documents in time. And to him, I mean, the government is this big blob overhead. Why can't it just be streamlined? Why can't everyone, they've already got the information, why can't they share it? So we took Mike's situation, we tried to think of a way that we could help both him. But then we brought it out a bit further and we thought, well, how can we help all Australians for generations to come? And that's how we've come up with our idea of e-citizen.
So what we decided was to make life a little bit easier for Mike, because that was the best that we could do, but make life a lot easier for future e-citizens. So, at the moment, the idea is that when you apply for a passport, you have to apply for all of these documents, you have to submit evidence that you've known someone for 5 years who doesn't live with you, who's not in a relationship with you, with all of this additional information. What we aim to do is, firstly, at birth, all new e-citizens will have their birth certificate automatically applied to their e-citizen profile. Secondly, it will be linked to their e-health record, so it will have record of immunisation, their schooling and everything, so by the time they turn 10, there'll be a record that they have been within Australia for that period, they were born in Australia, and they'll automatically become an Australian citizen on their e-citizen record. For people like Mike, who are already over the age of 18, what it does is give you a document sharing service where all the documents are uploaded to a secure server as part of your citizenship record. So you can go into any Australian government service delivery centre, whether it be Australia Post, a Centrelink Service Centre, a MyGov office, a passport office, and a public servant is able to identify and upload your documents to your e-citizen profile. With that, you can then, with any government application that you need to complete, you can link those documents and upload any additional requested ones by going to any Australian government outlet. This would include, even with a passport, going into one of those outlets and uploading a photo taken on the spot, authenticated by a public servant to the record, and it eliminates any of the risk of having anything lost in the mail or of making a mistake and having to have it sent back and forth via mail. We've done a bit of an example of an application. So what would happen is, for example, when you're applying for a passport, we've made an application where firstly you have to prove that you want them to access the information, so for privacy reasons and everything. You have to log into your MyGov account, and then while you're doing the application, you have to prove that they can access your e-citizen data. So the data isn't just made available to everyone, to every department, but it allows it to be shared between departments and given permission to be used when required.
Moreover, what we're doing in the long term is creating a unified Australia, a digital Australia. And remember, e-citizen, too easy. Thank you.